A little breathing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Real Hawk Talk. I am Brian Nemhauser. You can find us everywhere: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the places, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, at Hawk Blogger. And I got some breaking news to share with my good friends, Evan Hill at Evan Hill HB, Jeff Simmons at Real Jeff Simmons. I just took a walk with Finn, my dog, and I did not get stung by a yellow jacket. For the first time in like a week. Third time. So I, for folks that don't know, yesterday I texted these guys because for the third time in a week, I was stung by a yellow jacket on my walk with Finn. I can't go in the forest anymore because there's clearly some sort of yellow jacket nest in there, and it stung me through my sock, dude. It stung me.
So Brian, I am of course very concerned about your well-being.
Yes,
so I'm sorry to hear that you were stung, but more importantly, is Finn okay? Was he stung?
He doesn't give a shit, man. He's like, are we walking? That's all I care. Why are you complaining? Why are you limping?
I love Finn.
Yeah,
he's a great dog.
Yeah, he's all good, man. He's all good. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I didn't send you this text today, but I have been like compartmentalizing the game into like a specific part of my brain where I have not allowed myself to think about it or emotionally process it. And I've been storing those feelings inside. And I'm hoping today is almost like a group therapy session.
Yes.
Because I've just been bottling in some agitations with that game, and it was a conflicting Seattle sports night, obviously. But yeah, I've been looking forward towards this therapy session, is what I'll say.
I love it. The theme of this episode is from cope to hope. And we'll explain a little bit more about that in a bit. I worked on something. I don't know how it's going to go over. I think we're going to have fun with it, but I'm going to show that with you guys in a second. Jeff, I know how you're doing. I don't even have to ask how you're doing, you asshole. What's going on up there in Toronto?
I don't want to talk about it. I feel bad for you guys.
Yeah.
Well,
come on, man. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. We haven't had the World Series here since 32 years. And last time it happened, I was 6 years old, so I can't process any of this.
Hey, Jeff, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Was the week of the World Series, or not the World Series, the ALCS, where you guys were playing the Mariners, was it a really hard week for you?
No.
Was it a hard week? Did you have a hard week, Jeff?
No, it was strange though, because like I'm friends with a lot of you guys. I'm friends with a lot of Mariners fans. I did enjoy seeing the Mariners do well, and like I've developed relationships with people in the media who cover the team, and it was odd. And like Softy's been on our show before, and like I wouldn't say I have a relationship with Softy, but like I can see he's going through it right now, and like it is hard to watch. Like I feel for those guys. Like I've been there before with my other team when the Seahawks lost Super Bowl. I can't remember the number, 40. Like that crushed me, and I can relate. But no, like all of my childhood friends and all my buddies here are all Blue Jays fans, and even though I've hated on them and I'm a self-loathing one, it brought back a lot of like nostalgia for me, and it is my city, even though I have issues with that as well. But no, it was not a hard week, Evan. I know what you're getting at.
So wait, I've got a question for you, Brian. Are you rooting for this? May be a dumb question. Are Mariners fans rooting for the Dodgers, or are they rooting for the Blue Jays?
I think it varies. I'll tell you what. I don't plan to watch a single game. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I slightly would root for the Blue Jays, I guess, because I really object to the Dodgers and how unfair of an advantage they have, just from a competition perspective. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Like, if Jeff, next time I see Jeff, I am absolutely gonna galooly his knee, George Springer style, just for to keep the Seattle Toronto thing going. But no, I mean,
well deserved.
I'm happy for Jeff, and I was also happy for the Mariners. Like, I know that people are really bummed, but this was the new standard that they set this year, and while I think everyone's going to be down, and it's 100% fair to say you never know if you're going to get back. We know that. I just feel differently about this team. I think this team's going to be back, and I think they're going to break through, and I think they're going to be good for a really long time. So I've been wrong about that before, but that's kind of my perspective and why I'm not as crushed as maybe I think some other folks are. So we're going to talk a lot about just where the Seahawks are. It's a bye week, right? So we don't have to do our predictions. We'll do some patron questions, but we'll probably do a few less of those. We're going to kind of contemplate where this team is, and we're going to go back over that game. And part of what got me going on this is we made Jeff, who was drunk off his ass and could not watch the game on Monday night, rewatch that game because it was so painful. And both Evan and I, Evan, how did you describe it?
A fever dream? Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah.
I was watching I was rewatching the game, and Rachel, my wife, was in there, and I was like, I honestly don't know what's going to happen next. I can't remember. I was so stressed in the second half of that game that they were going to blow it that I couldn't remember. So watching it over and over again, it's probably the most traumatic win I have watched for a while. I would describe. And as I was then going on this walk with Finn today, I was listening to some coverage about the Seahawks from the Texans side. For some reason, I felt the need to do that. And so I didn't go deep down that, but it got me thinking about where we are versus where we were. And I'm going to ask for your patience. I threw this together. I did not edit it down as much as I want. It's 6+ minutes. It's going to take a while, but we're going to watch this together.
Oh,
and
God.
I have a feeling you guys are going to enjoy this. So let me put this up there for us all to see. We're going to talk about it a little bit. So here we go. You know what? I am sick. Of cheering for a team that cannot play defense. I am sick of cheering for a team that has no backbone. I'm sick of cheering for a team that if there's an opponent that has any amount of I got to pause it. There are some F-bombs in here. If you don't want to hear them, you might want to mute.
Earmuffs.
Any starch in their uniform, that this Seahawks team will wilt, that they will fall, that they do not have what it takes to beat in a physical sport. They do not have what it takes to win a game that requires any amount of physical dominance whatsoever. They don't do it on offense. They don't do it on defense. Their tackling is shit. This is an absolute mediocre at best Pittsburgh Steelers team playing a quarterback, Mason Rudolph, who is one of the worst quarterbacks you could play, and they offered absolutely no opposition to him. I think it's a question whether or not the Seahawks defense that runs out there, whether it's actually an impediment to opposing offenses or whether it's an accelerant to opposing offenses. I am so tired of hearing Pete Carroll in the postgame show. I heard it. I wanted to, for the first time since Pete Carroll has been coach, I was infuriated by what I heard from him in the postgame show. When he said, for the 55th time, they didn't do anything we didn't expect, then coach, you're not doing your fucking job. You are not doing your job. If they didn't do anything you didn't expect and they still ran over you, you did not do your job. And I don't want to hear about at the end of the season, him and John Schneider saying, you know what? We got to get tougher in the trenches. We know what we got to do. No shit, you got to get tougher in the trenches. You knew that last season. You knew that the season before, and you haven't done it. You did not do your jobs this offseason in making this a tougher football team, a more resilient football team. This team does not deserve me to feel this much frustration because they have not, for the last 8 years, done what it takes to be a football team that I can be proud to root for. I am embarrassed by this football team almost every week. I'm done. I am absolutely done. This isn't even worth putting a bag over my head because you know what that means? That means that the expectations are different than the reality. That means that they're worth me even joking about it. It's not fucking funny anymore, man. It's not funny. This is not a team that makes me want to turn on the TV each week. And that's a pretty freaking low bar.
It happened, man.
It happened. We have got a new head coach for the Seattle Seahawks, the youngest head coach in the NFL, arguably the number one prospect for head coach in the NFL. He did win Assistant Coach of the Year. His name is Mike McDonald. He is your new coach of the Seattle Seahawks.
I think this is the most optimistic I've been as a Seahawks fan in probably like 8 or 9 years. Genuinely. This is an optimism I have not felt in a very long time.
News.
Oh, I'm pumped up, man. I'm really pumped up. To me, it's just an absolute great fit for Seahawks. And what's interesting is I get a sense of them. Like, we had this take when John launched the press conference that he might have not been thrilled with how things were going. And the fact that they hired someone so radically different than Pete, to me, is really telling. Pete, we all know what Pete did really well. This guy is more of an introvert. He's a lot more of like a scheme master, kind of a player evaluator, but he's a quieter scheme guy that kind of wins with detail. Watching the Seahawks the last few years, their lack of attention to detail, their penalties, their bad game management, you have to wonder about how John's been sitting there in the back of his mind stewing about some of the stuff we've seen. And there were some hints of that press conference. The fact they hired someone radically different than Pete, to me, I found that really, really interesting.
You're not on.
Yes! Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Watch, Evan. Let's go! Hell yes! Let's go. The turning of the tide. The Seahawks are going to have the best defensive tackle duo in the division for the first time in how long? Byron frickin' Murphy.
They did the right thing.
They did it. They frickin' did it.
I'm like in shock. I don't know how to respond.
Yes! Yes! Let's go!
Yes! Let's go! Nathan! Let's go!
Yes! Thank freaking God! Oh my
Let's
God!
go.
Table's not available in 18! What?
Oh, thank God!
Wow.
Oh my
Let's
God!
go. Grade
Oh,
Zabel,
we did
star of the Senior Bowl, teammate
Oh
of
my
Jalen
God.
Sandell, who was texting with him the morning of the combine. They could be center and guard combination for this team for a decade plus. This is a great moment for Seahawks fans because it's over. We
I'm
no
mute,
longer have to say that John Schneider does not value offensive line enough to take him with his top pick, the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL draft.
Is that probably the biggest one, the physicality of that against a team that was, we know, very, very physical? Was that probably the biggest one offensively that you look at and say, yeah, I really would have liked our physicality to be the better at the point of attack?
Yeah, that's the main thing. We knew all week. We talked about their front and how they're strong. The strongest part of their team was their front, and we had to be able to control their front on our double team blocks where we didn't. We got split on some of the double team blocks where you're not expecting that to happen. So
I wanted to put it to music. I had more stuff, but I only had like an hour to put it together. So, guys, what a journey. What a journey we've been on.
I'm just glad we're in a much happier place right now. Like those last couple of years in the Pete regime, like guys, those were not fun mentally. They were
And I gotta say, it looks like you and Evan have slimmed down quite a bit since the Pete year. It looks like I've kind of gone the other way. So
I've gone up and down. Don't worry, buddy.
yeah, I'm just saying, like
Same.
things are moving in a good direction. You guys look slim now.
Wow, that's not what I took away from that, but I appreciate
Yeah, that Pete
it.
video, those Pete years were eating on you guys.
Oh, 100%. I was drinking to excess without
Yeah, it looks
question.
like, man.
I really feel like that Steelers game, though, Brian, broke you. It broke a lot
did.
of the fan base. Yeah.
It did. I think it broke ownership too. I think that's the game why Pete's not here.
There was a lot of division in this fan base about, do you move on from Pete? Do you reshape certain things? Do you hire a different staff? that game changed the tune of that conversation. It felt people were ready to move on.
The juxtaposition for me, and Jeff, you've been talking about this a lot as well, was there was more clips. It was you had that comment from D'Amico Ryans. George Kittle, who's just coming back, unprompted in a different interview, talks about how dominant, how great the Seahawks defensive line is.
Mhm.
You've got Daniel Jeremiah talking about Leonard Williams as Defensive Player of the Year and how their front is physical. Like you have a plethora of clips of people from across the league and across the NFL. Their first thing they talk about with the Seahawks now is the trenches. And I just, like, if you look back and what's happened and Mike McDonald's influence, I'm not sure that Byron Murphy would have been the first pick there. I'm not sure that Gray Zabel would have been a first pick there. And that does not include the DeMarcus Lawrence pick, like all those other things that have happened to make this defensive line the most dominant, maybe single unit in the entire NFL. I think it's in the conversation for it, Jeff.
Yeah, the last two games have been just total wreckage from that group. And like they totally won that Jacksonville game. They just took over the game. Those are unprecedented numbers. And then I had to rewatch the game, but even when I was kind of half watching there, every time I looked at the screen and they tried to run the ball, they just were blowing these guys up. And Brian, you said they have the best defensive tackle group in the division. I saw that clip. I think it's in the league. And I don't know if you guys heard Chris Long talking about Byron Murphy yesterday and just said he looks like a guy who's been playing in the league for 12 years now. And he's the move where he gets on that one knee and is tossing away double teams. It's unbelievable. And like the advanced stats are really high on him. But when you factor in that Nwosu's obviously started picking up his game, DeMarcus Lawrence coming back the last 2 weeks. When Derek Hall went out in that one game, the edge group looked disaster. Yeah. But just DeMarcus Lawrence pairing with those guys in Nwosu, they just look like total badasses. And again, we had the end of the year, at the end of the Pete era, there was Al Woods and Shelby Harris, and they were trying to patch it together for years. And coming out of that Jadeveon Clowney, where they left the edge rush group empty, and the change into one of the probably the best, like overall, I think they're playing a lot better than the Rams front right now, I would say.
I mean, let's not forget, like this defense was flip-flopped, like you just kind of alluded to like a couple of minutes ago. A few years ago, they had a struggling defensive line with the two highest paid safeties in the National Football League, one of the highest paid defensive back groups in football in totality. And I think this warrants and is justified to be said, but having watched both of those purely just from like a fan entertainment perspective, I would so much rather watch a football team where their strengths are in the fucking trenches.
Yeah.
And they are going to physically dominate your motherfucking ass. They're going to throw you to the side. They're going to punch you in your face. They're going to stomp on your throat. I would so much rather invest in the trenches and build outwards than outwards in. I don't know what it is, but there's something in football where it's like, if you don't, maybe this is obvious, but if you dominate the line of scrimmage, it's just so much easier to win football games consistently. And by the way, it's funner to watch. It's way more enjoyable.
The best part of that team back 2 years ago was probably the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, even JSN was on that team 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's how you build. That's not how you build championship rosters. Mm-hmm. And so, like, we're going to get into how frustrating this game was against Houston, but it's a very different kind of frustration, guys. It's a frustration born of, oh my God, we are like men playing with boys in a lot of these games. And then we start playing with our food and get like, just don't do what we need to do. And by the way, it's not the defense that stopped doing what the defense did its job and then some in this game. I just I feel so much more proud to wear Seahawks gear, to go to a game, to scream my head off. to cover this team, to do these daily shows since Mike McDonald got hired.
I love
Period.
it.
Period. It is 100% a different experience as a fan than it was 2 years ago.
That makes me really happy. Like genuinely, guys. Like it even like it. I mean, we are degenerate fans. Like we argue about like third string right guard rotations like in the off season, and we'll like go at each other's throats about it. It's just
stupid.
Even just like looking forward to these like weekly conversations with you guys, like the vibes around this team are totally different. And you see like these locker room speeches that Mike McDonald is giving, you know, the team after these games. It's a totally different atmosphere than what this team looked like 3-4 years ago. They're developing acronyms again. Suspect acronyms.
Oh my God!
Like
the mob acronym may not be one they want to keep around after the other team owned by Jody Allen has a Italian mafia ties all of a sudden.
Did you guys see when Salk asked that question on
it's
the
Salk,
on their
by the way? I gotta correct you. It's Salk, SALK, not Sock.
Salk. When Mr. Salk asked that question, I'm just kidding. When Salk asked that question, that's funny. I've been saying that for like 20 years. Mike McDonald's reaction was so funny. Did you see that?
I don't think I saw it. I heard it.
What are mob ties?
Well, his reaction was like, "Are you suggesting like our players have criminal I'm paraphrasing heavily, so to be clear. But if you haven't seen it, you got to go back and rewatch it.
It's funny.
Okay, I will go back and watch it.
Yeah.
That's really
funny. Mike was very loose with those guys this week.
Yeah,
I mean, Jeff. We love Evan and we joke about it, and he, you know, those reactions to the draft picks. I can't wait till we get you to be able to join our draft coverage.
I did day 2 this year. I think next year I'll be good.
What were you doing this year? Were you getting paid a bag by somebody? Is that what's happening?
This year was my he was 3-month-old son. So
yes,
was a lot to ask.
It was,
but I was on Maury and Arroyo and.
You were, and I was gonna grab some of those. I just
it wasn't a great reaction, though. Be honest, we had a lot of nervous.
I think I was pretty excited about even Worry, but
you were. But I was excited by Arroyo, but Nathan hated it, so it was like a weird vibe.
I know, but like Evan's reaction to those 2 picks, we joke about, but that was the voice of a fan base right there. That was every fan that had been through year after year after year of them doing not the obvious thing.
Yeah.
Like,
although
trying to outthink people.
That looks pretty good.
What's that?
There's one first-round pick the year before. I think you guys reacted pretty positively to that. Looks pretty good right now.
I could have gone back. I could have gone back to the JSN. Honestly, I thought about including our Witherspoon reaction where we were like bummed that they didn't take Jalen Carter, but happy that they took Witherspoon. Like we liked him.
Yeah.
But the point being, we've been focused on the trenches the whole friggin' time. And finally the team is 2. And guess what? Now they go into every game with a chance to win. Every single game. Like, I feel good about that. So as we sit here, the Seahawks are 5-2, 7 games into the season. Last time the Seahawks were 5-2, you guys will get a kick out of this, that same year, 2023, when they lost to the Steelers. In fact, the Seahawks, ended up they started 5-2, and then they lost 5 of their next 6 games.
Oh my
to
God.
end up
I
at
think
6
I actually
and 7.
think they played Mike McDonald at 5-2. If I remember that.
You were totally nailing it, Jeff. Yes, this is why this was like all came. Like, right. So they were 5-2. They traded for Leonard Williams.
Yeah.
His first game was against the Ravens. And do you remember what the Seahawks said about after that game?
I remember
they got beat 37-3,
which is what the score should have been last week, by the way.
It should have been.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they said?
Well, I remember what John said after, or like, who the hell was that guy?
Exactly.
that, like last time this team was 5-2 at this exact same moment, I think changed the franchise even before the Pittsburgh game.
That's kind of crazy. That's really crazy.
Speaking of which, how did the Ravens just lose 41-3 or whatever against the Texans, even without Lamar? Lamar.
They were literally missing every single player they had. Like Kyle Hamilton, Matt Abuke, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey. Like you can't play football with it. They've been a bad defense all year, but if you suck every good player out, it's just take Lamar and those 5 guys out, you can't play.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that moment is why John Schneider went and waited for Mike McDonald. If they hadn't had that game, I don't think that happens. And then the times before that they've been 5-2, they were 6-1 actually in 2020, which was a surprise to me. Back. What's that?
That's let Russ cook, and then it fell off the roller coaster.
Was that the injury year?
No.
That was the year they lost to the Rams with John Wolford or whatever in the playoffs.
That Russ Cook thing that just.
By the way, I saw that shirt in my closet the other day. It's like an adult small. I tried to fit it on. Does not fit.
Shoddy turned out to be a pretty decent head coach. I thought he was going to be a disaster. He looks pretty solid.
Yes.
Who did?
Shoddy, the guy you were always pumping up, and I was like, "There's no way that guy could coach."
I
think it's a little early to say that.
It is, but he looks like he's
a good offensive coach. He's smart. He's good.
He's good at maximizing like the talent that he has, I think.
Yeah.
The time before that they were 5-2 was 2019. That was the year that Jadeveon Clowney, the game against San Francisco. So they went 5-2 that year. They actually got all the way up to 10-2 that year. Do you remember that? They were 10-2 that year.
That was a good team.
I do not remember that.
Like that was a team that was going to make the Super Bowl.
That was the last year the team won a playoff game.
Wait, you said that was 20 what?
This is 2019 when they went to Philadelphia and beat them 17-9.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf went crazy.
He did.
All Wilson that year had 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
He was an MVP candidate that year.
He was AP All-Pro second team. Was from that perspective his best season. So I'm bringing these up because, like, by the way, the 2013 team was 6-1 at this point. The 2005 squad was 5-2 at this point. So 5-2 is like, you also remember like Cable Thanos made a "we're 5-2" video. I think that might have been his last video was, we're 5-2. So it's not something that happens all the time. At the same time, do you guys feel like the Seahawks are peaking right now? Do you feel like it's comparable to some of those other situations?
I do not feel like we've seen anything remotely close to this team's full capability. Like we have not seen, I think, both sides of the ball fully click at the same time yet. We have not seen the run game fully. I don't want to use the word click again, but we haven't seen them really like dominate yet. Like we've seen them do so in the passing game. Mike keeps referencing like in the press conferences and in some of these other videos about how if they just stick at it, like they feel like the running game is going to break through later in the season. I'm curious to know if you guys buy into that. It's like philosophically, is that true? Is that a statement of truth when it comes to the run game? If you just commit to it, does it eventually, like, does the line get enough gel together that they eventually break through later in the year with enough reps? Like what's your guys' take on that?
Jeff?
It seems optimistic, but I think with the zone scheme, timing and cohesiveness can help. And a lot of these guys have not played in a scheme like this. There's an obvious liability in the group right now, but they don't just have a great run blocking team in general. I thought that would be a strength of theirs, but like if you look at each player physically, they're all a little limited in some regard. Like Zabel's a rookie, Sundell's not the strongest guy. Bradford is Bradford. Lucas and Cross are better pass protectors than run blockers. I think it's optimistic, but I don't think it's like outlandish to think that with the zone scheme where it's all timing based, they will get better with more reps.
But not to take this in a different direction than what you wanted it, Brian. But this is like, to me, like, let me rephrase this. My aspirations for this team have skyrocketed over the past 8 weeks.
Okay. Say more.
So I think they have had so many. We always go back to blue chip talent and the guys that we have taking the next step forward, right? We've had a ton of guys where we feel like they are taking massive steps. Byron Murphy, looking like a blue chip all pro type of talent right now. Ernest Jones, having an incredible year, just not get nearly enough talk, right? Julian Love is Julian Love. Gray Zabel having his year. What? JSN. Sam Darnold. These are like, they're playing like blue chip players right now, right? And so I say that because my aspirations for this team is all of a sudden you have 5-6 guys playing at like a blue chip level, and that's a Super Bowl contending type of football team, in my opinion. If you have 5 or 6 of those types of guys. But when I look at their run blocking and their ability to consistently execute on the run game, especially in critical moments of the game where they need to close out the game. And it doesn't matter if it's a boring, stupid way of winning a football game, but when you're up 14 or 15 points going into the fourth quarter, you have to be able to run the clock. You have to be able to limit offensive opportunities for really good opposing football teams. If that Texans offensive line, guys, is anything but the 32nd ranked offensive line in the NFL, if they're 25, 26, 27, I think they might win that football game. I really do. Like, I had real problems with the coaching staff's decisions in play calling late in that game. Like, their run pass splits made no sense towards the end. So that was a long answer, Brian. But
yeah. I think it's tied together, Evan. I think
you
look at the last 3 wins they've had: Arizona, Jacksonville, and Houston.
Yeah.
In all 3 of those games, for 95% of the game, the Seahawks were dominating.
Mm-hmm.
They were dominating. And all 3 got either uncomfortable or they almost blew. And I think the number one cause is they couldn't close those games out, is that they can't run the ball.
Yeah.
And they're giving the ball back to the other team. And they've had, like in the Jacksonville game, they had 3 turnovers before that 3 possessions before that AJ Barner play, where it was 3 and out and punted it back. The Arizona game, the defense got worn out because they're on the field too much in the second half because the offense couldn't do anything. And last game, I rewatched it today, was the first moments I've seen the whole thing click. In the first quarter and in the third quarter, the whole thing clicked and they looked like the best team in football. In the second quarter and the fourth quarter, you saw they couldn't get out of their own way, whether it was coaching, turnovers.
Yeah.
And that was so bad, combined with the fact they couldn't run the ball, they almost blew a game that they should have won 37-3. And so you see the highs, you saw the lows, you saw it all in this game. But in that first and third quarter, when I rewatched the game today, where they are just scoring touchdowns at will against what team me and Brian really respected defensively.
Yeah.
It looked freaking awesome. But the second and fourth quarter were that bad. The red flags are there. They're there, man. That's 3 games in a row that we've had to sweat out in games they dominated.
That's kind of where I wanted to take us, because Evan, you hit it perfectly. I mean, expectations, I think, are raised. I look back at our season predictions. I had them at 5-2 at this point. Evan, you had them at 5-2. Jeff, you had them at 4-3 at this point. Now, we didn't pick the right losses and wins, but that doesn't matter. Roughly, we were pretty close to what those things are. But I was expecting the offense to struggle. I was expecting Sam Darnold to be a work in progress. I was expecting the receiving room to be a big question mark. I was expecting the offensive line to be better in some ways, run blocking, than it's been. And I thought the defense would be really good, but so that part has, I think, mostly been what I expected. But I don't think it's a stretch to say, when you look at that game, the decision to not go for it on 4th down at the Houston 44, inexcusable to me when they had a chance to step on their necks. The decision by Sam Darnold to not throw the ball away when he's standing near his own end zone, and then make the second decision to try to bail out of the pocket. And then the third decision, all in the same play, to not protect the football while doing all that. Those are 3 individual decisions that all could have lost a game against any, like just that one situation. That doesn't get into the continued decisions to pass the ball in the fourth quarter, the decision again from Sam Darnold to drop back, and for Clint Kubiak to call another pass that had Sam Darnold dropping back near his end zone and almost getting a safety. Like, there were so many things, and the refs screwed the Seahawks pretty badly in a number of different ways. The Seahawks were so much better than the team that came into this game with the number 1 defense in the NFL, that they still won by 8 points, and it took a touchdown at the very end for it to even get to that close. That's how good this team is.
Yeah. I will say, I hate to be like the math guy in this situation, but if you randomize this game like 100 times, I think the outcome that occurred happens like 3 out of that 100 times or less. Like, I think it took a myriad of some pretty crazy situational bullshit to happen. Like the refs tricked off 9 points. Jason Myers missed a field goal. Cooper Kupp threw an interception. Like, to me, that's a lot of high variability type of plays to happen.
Drake Thomas doesn't get a half foot farther in for a touchdown. Yeah.
That's mostly fair, but it just felt like the last 3 games have kind of felt connected.
Say more.
It just felt like all 3 games, in my opinion, they dominated the game, and it was never comfortable in the fourth quarter. And the Jacksonville game, like, we're sweating that out, and the defensive line was just dominating. If they didn't stop them, the Arizona game, like, Evan, we were in the stands. That was horrible in the fourth quarter.
Oh, that was terrible. Absolutely
terrible. They destroyed them. Like, they were booing Kyler Murray out of the stadium.
Yeah.
And I know you're saying there is an unlikely outcome, but I think we're seeing some Kubiak issues in some of these games. I think we're seeing the lack of running. Darnold got a little goofy in this game. I think he hasn't made plays like that. You saw some of the earlier, that play in the end zone, Brian reference, was just, when I watched it today, and the fact I'm like, throw the ball. And he starts to, like, not having the situational awareness to spin there. That was insane. But like, look, every quarterback's Matt Stafford's had plays like that this year too. Like, Darnold's done some good things. I'm not going to kill him for it. But I think the fact that they're not able to, other than the Pittsburgh game, which they ended up peaking and taking over, it's been uncomfortable. And I think there's a couple of reasons. I think they're a young team that's trying to learn how to win. I think the coaching staff kind of shoots themselves in the foot. And I think the lack of running leads to a lot of variance. And that's what they're making this hard on themselves. And I think it's real.
I think I'm most hopeful about the running game. Getting back to your question, Evan, I 100% think that teams, especially new like, I don't want to. People are spoiled by what's happened in the first 7 games. Remember the first half of the season last year with Mike McDonald, who is the best defensive coach probably in football. And remember what happened this first 8 games in Baltimore. It takes time to get your players, your personnel, to get people acclimated. And they also had new people. Like, it's all new. And so the fact that they've had this much success this quickly is great, but it's also very, very fair to expect that it's going to take some parts of the offense more time, and typically run game and typically a more coordinated, like, orchestrated run game like a zone does take a little bit longer. That said, Anthony Bradford's had 7 games, and yes, he has been really, really bad, and his run blocking has not been good enough to justify the pass protection issues that he's creating. So I do think, like, when I talked to John Benton a couple weeks ago and I asked him about Anthony Bradford, he did mention, like, he had a really strong spring and then games kind of sped up on him. Like, he was not super positive. He said the last couple games have been better. But I do think that going into this bye week, one of the positions that they'll look at is that right guard spot. And they're going to have to make a decision. Are we going to stick with what we've got and try to bet on his development? And they're going to have a conversation with John Benton about that, I would bet. And then if the answer is no, I don't think they have any confidence in Christian Haynes. I just don't. I don't know how you could. So I think it would be like a Bryce Cable that would get a chance, or a Mason Richmond, or someone like that. And that's a rookie. So I think you got to be careful about expectations there. they can try to make a trade for Joe Bitonio or Wyatt Teller or Kevin Zeitler. I just don't know those guys are going to be available.
I think what's I'm trying to think about how to best articulate this. What frustrated me, guys, and maybe it doesn't make a ton of logical, rational sense, but I heard this coaching staff and I heard Mike McDonald, and I'm sort of nitpicking here, so I acknowledge that. But I heard them talk about who they want to be identity-wise on offense for the past 20 months, and particularly the past 10 months since firing Ryan Grubb. They want to be a running football team. They want to run the ball effectively. That is the thing they are going to hang their hat on. And I don't see them doing it for a myriad of reasons. And it's just frustrating. They are, and I understand I'm nitpicking here because like the passing game is so effective. It might be like the best in football, but I get worried when I think about the future, when I go forward thinking here and I think about come playoff time, you have to be able to run the ball effectively. You have to, or you will struggle. So I guess that's where my head is.
You have to do. You have to be able to run the ball effective. You also have to be able to drop back pass. And
you do
sometimes, like so the other thing I was talking about this morning, and other folks have been mentioning. I don't know if you guys saw this, but in likely passing situations or situations where you're expected to pass, the Seahawks rank 32 out of 32 passing offenses in the NFL.
When they're expected to pass.
Yes, in expected passing situations, they're dead last. And so that's that's the other factor here, right? Which is if they have to drop back, they're not built for that. And the Seahawks, they've had, I think, maybe the second fewest snaps in the NFL when they've been behind all year. If you're feeling like confident about this team, it's partly because they've been winning every friggin' game.
Yeah.
They lost 2, but they lost them at the very, very end and in games that they had leads. So this team is not built to come from behind necessarily. They have done it. Like I think they in Pittsburgh, for example, but like drop back passing to me, that's about the receiver room. As much as I like Cooper Kupp and Torrey Horton, I don't know that they've been getting open as much as you'd hope they would. And the running game, I think that's another one where those two things to me feel like the biggest impediment to this team actually being like the clear cut best team in football.
Can I ask you guys, like we talk a lot about run blocking and that's fair and it starts up front, but what are your takes on Charbonnet and K9 right now?
Jeff?
Because one of my favorite things, guys, is checking like fantasy football forums and seeing people like lose their mind about the running back splits that Seattle executes on. It is so funny to me. I love it. But like purely from like a performance perspective, I'm having a real tough time with our backs. I'm struggling. And I'd be curious to know where your head is at with these guys.
I haven't been very optimistic on Charbonnet this whole year. I think he's looked stiff and he's looked a little slow. I thought this last game was the best we've seen from him this year. Since the Niners game, I thought he ran really well in the low red zone. I thought he ran really well when there were holes there.
Yeah.
Overall, it's been frustrating. Walker's been the same he's kind of been every year. Like he's a very hard back to evaluate because the run blocking's so bad. When he gets holes, sometimes he looks at times like the best player in football. And then at times when he starts spinning backwards or not missing holes, I don't really know what to do with him. I was hoping the scheme would elevate him to a more consistent player. I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know it's the run game. I'm kind of stuck with him. I don't really know what to do with that. And obviously I'd love to have an answer on that. And if he goes to like Philadelphia next year or something, he might look like Saquon Barkley did.
I'm going to be so annoyed when that happens. It's going to happen.
It's probably
and that good.
I don't know how to evaluate him. I struggle.
I think he's that good. I think that he could be having a JSN like year if the run blocking was decent. I'm not saying he's ready to, break rushing records, but I absolutely think he's a 1,500 yard plus back with a team that can run block better than the Seahawks have been. there's not a lot of runs this year where I look at it and I'm like, oh man, there goes K9 doing his freelance bull. And like, honestly, that has not been the thing this year. Last year, for sure, I was seeing that. This year, it's just like, where are the holes, man? I'm not seeing it. And so to me, it's been really clear they're better with K9. This last game was, for my money, the best game for both of them together, where they both had moments. And there was even a couple runs that were called back. There was one for K9 that was like a 19-yard run.
That's true.
And it was a hold from Gray Zabel, and it was not even really related. Not saying it was a bad call, but that worked. So anyway, I just and I think you also have to consider that the Seahawks were going against the number 1 defense overall. They weren't going against the number 3 or 5 defense against Jacksonville. Like they have a tough defensive schedule that they've been facing, but it doesn't change any of it. What changes it is what the reality is if they can't figure out the run game and they can't get the drop back passing game to be more reliable, then you're talking about explosive play actions. And if you don't get those, then you're kind of screwed. So like, that's the thing that I think, is going to lead to a high variance offense. So I don't know. I mean, Jeff, you look at this team right now.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, getting back to this last game, the things that happened there, the Sam Darnold mistakes, he's made those mistakes in past years. The Mike McDonald game management mistakes. We had the Rams game last year. We had some game management issues last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's got my concern level a little bit higher, that this team can win, but not win when it matters. I'm curious where you are with it.
I'm not there with Darnold yet. I just think they got a little loosey-goosey in that game. I think they were just blowing them out, and I don't know if they expected that. And he just looked a little loosey-goosey, and I think when you needed, like, the fact that he responded from that play with that pass having reference down the sideline to JSN right after.
That was beautiful.
That was like maybe one of the nicest throws I've seen all season from any player. I think I'm willing to be okay. Like, you watch a lot of the quarterbacks this year, like, they've all had those kind of moments. But look, we all know Darnold's history. We all know what happened in the end of the season last year. We've seen what happened in the end of these games they've lost. He has some goofy looking plays.
Sure.
And in the playoffs where everything gets tight and things get tougher and you're playing against the best defenses, yeah, we all got to be sitting back and wondering if that's going to happen again.
I struggled to keep my pants on after that drop in the bucket type of play. That was insane. That was insane.
Yeah, it was.
Like, I think the fact that he responded right after with that, I think that says a lot about Darnold and what he's doing this year.
Their connection.
Sorry, go on, Evan. Go on.
I was going to say I think they brought up on Brock and Salk. Their connection in like playing football together for like 5 months is insane.
It makes no sense. It's crazy.
Like, that's something you see after a quarterback playing with his receiver for 10 years.
Have you noticed JSN getting more swag and more cocky, like in how he's just going about his business? Like,
how could you not?
I mean, the guy's very unassuming and kind of mild mannered. And so I got to say, one of the craziest things I've ever seen is when he got onto their opposing bench and just sat there, like, fixed his headband and put his arms up. Who else? Like, he was so cool, dude. Like, how do you have that in that moment?
God bless that ref too, protecting him. Yeah. God bless that ref.
I heard I think it was DJ say that was the only one who covered JSN the whole game. It's the ref.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Or it was maybe Michael John who said that. I can't remember.
That was good. That was good.
Their cornerback, I was just going to say, their corner Stingley, he's a little bit of a punk.
A little bit.
And
he also got punked. I mean,
big time.
JSN took him pretty good. Arroyo got him a couple times too.
Guys, it's at the point where if we're in a third down and long situation and Sam Darnold drops back for like play action or something, and I see him targeting JSN, it's an instant conversion. That's how much trust I have. I feel it's automatic at this point.
I'll tell you this. There was some moments at the end of in the last half of that game when there was I think there was a 3rd and 7 and they ran a slant to JSN. And I was like, what are you doing? Run the ball and get a field goal. You were like risking this. And it was a dime. It was so gorgeous. And then the 4th and short, and they go in shotgun and they go deep to JS. I'm like, what the hell? Okay, that was great. But I still don't like the choices, man. Like, I think where I'm at is I think this team is so good. I would rather, this might sound crazy, I would rather see them eliminate the dumb choices, like the Sam Darnold, like terrifying decisions, and the Clint Kubiak, like, why are you not using the Barner tush push kind of things, than see those unbelievable throws.
I'm so glad they used it.
That makes me more confident you can win a big game if you don't blow it. Like, if you don't, I think they're good enough that they don't have to always make these crazy, like high risk decisions.
That's why the Cooper Kupp like trick play really bothered me because exactly the offense was like slicing and dicing them. They had an opportunity to go up, 3 possession scores. Like, just be normal. Just be normal.
It just didn't make sense. What's the value of doing it there? You gain like 11 yards if you hit it. Like, I get it.
Thank you. Yeah. The route is like a short route. Like, it makes it made no sense.
If you're like at the 11-yard line, like the Eagles did in the Super Bowl, where it was a deception play, that makes a ton of sense.
Great call out, Jeff. The play design made 0 sense.
Well, it was
like,
so
really
weird.
You need to gain 10 yards with a. It made no sense. It's idiotic.
All right, we've got to get to some Patreon questions and some super chats. I know you guys got to run a little bit too. So, patreon.com/hawkblogger, where you can go to get access to the Discord server where you can ask us questions. Braxton asks, Adam asks, arguably the Hawks have been the better team in each game, including their losses. Should I feel good that it seems like the Hawks can still play a better game, or frustrated that they aren't crushing these teams? So I think we've kind of been talking about that this whole time. So I'm going to say we've answered that one. There's this other question from Sovereign Alex. I'll give this one to you, Jeff. Who on this team should we look to elevate their game to the next level that hasn't already for us to be worthy of a deep playoff run?
Ooh, I kind of like that question.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think a couple areas you can look at here. I think Devin Witherspoon. I think when he comes back, we haven't really seen him this year, which is crazy. They're almost 7-0. And the stuff that they can do now that Eamon Warrior's hitting the ground running with like Witherspoon getting to the next level, that can take a pretty good defense that's dominating with the front mostly and make them a great defense. And to win the Super Bowl, or to make the Super Bowl, Brian talks about, you need to have a dominant unit. I think that's the best way for them to get a dominant. The other one would be a lot of the offensive line guys elevating run blocking. But I think what Witherspoon can do to make this like a pretty damn good defense, which is what they are right now, and make them a great defense, it's hard to find a better answer than that.
Could Mafe be an answer to that question?
Yeah. Edge rush has been an issue closing games.
Poor guy. Did you see he got a strip sack in this game, and then there was a illegal contact penalty that got it? I felt so bad for that guy. All right. This is for you, Evan. Vince Ochoa says, recently CBS Sports came out with potential trades that contending teams could make before the deadline. Seattle gave away Woolen to the Bills and traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. With the depth struggles at safety when Julian Love is out, could you see this as a viable trade option? And would Minkah start over Kobe or just be a depth player?
I would. Isn't Minkah kind of washed now? Like, he's not nearly as good as he used to be. That feels more of a name than a talent at this point. And he can't, I don't know what his contract looks like, but like he's been paid over a couple of times. I think positionally that makes honestly 0 sense, to be honest with you. Like, we saw what happened when Reek was out. Yeah, I mean, Minkah has they did something weird with his contract. They've added a lot of void years. I don't even think they could trade him if they wanted to. No, I'm surprised they added that. They should have done some contract research. They would have lost a lot of money.
All right, I'm going to ask a couple more, and then we'll get to our super chats. Jeff, this comes from Braxton, another trade question. With the trade deadline looming just 2 days after our game against the Commanders, do you see Seattle making a trade over the bye week, and for whom?
I love this question.
I do see them making a trade. I feel like they make trades either when they have windows to win and there's opportunity there. And so they did it the year with Carlos Dunlap. They did it with Diggs. They did it with Leonard Williams when they were 5-2. This feels like that kind of year. So it's hard to track. Like I was been hammering the edge rush group, but I don't know if the numbers work. If Derek Hall's coming back, I don't know where you fill in another edge rusher. The Logan Wilson in Cincinnati is the one I'm wondering about. And look, Drake Thomas is coming off his best game, but I think if you want to really close up this defense, Logan Wilson is a declining older player, so that might be the best fit at linebacker. But I think if you can add like another good coverage linebacker, it's either just hedge Drake Thomas or split snaps with him, because I don't know if Tyrese Knight he's been benched at this point. I don't know if we're getting much from him.
Yeah, what happened to him?
I think it's more about Drake Thomas than it is about Tyrese Knight. I think they like what Drake Thomas is doing, and I honestly think he's shown reason to feel good about that. I will also just say I had Cody Alexander on yesterday. He made a really good case that he thinks what they're going to do when Witherspoon gets back is they'll play dime a lot. They'll play Spoon and Nicky Manwari inside. They'll play Woolen if he's here and Job outside. And you'll only have one linebacker on the field. Ernest Jones would be the only linebacker. So you can get a situation where they wouldn't even need another linebacker because pretty much everyone would be on the bench all the time.
Because right guard would be ideal, but I don't know unless the Browns are giving up one of those guys.
Yeah.
That's the ideal trade, but it's hard to trade.
Agreed.
Line in season.
Agreed. All right. So let's take one more, and we'll get to some of these others. Let's see. Evan, this is for you. This comes from Brendan. At the start of the season, I think there were a few position groups just about everyone saw as having taken a step back. Now that we're 7 weeks in, is there a position group or multiple that you see as having taken a step back from last year?
Taking a step back. Could you say corner? Could you say corner with the struggles that Reek has had this year? And I know Reek wasn't like a superstar last year in the unavailability.
Reek played great last game, though. That was nice to see.
He did. My gut.
There's an answer to this question.
I agree, and that's kind of why it's hard for my brain to search for an answer here, but I think it might be corner.
Like I'd say receiver, but
I don't think so.
JSN is so good.
JSN at this peak is the best receiver in the league. Last
know.
year, he had a good JSN in the second half, and DK looked great in the first half, but the whole group looked long. Like Tyler Lockett looked.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's an answer to this question.
Torrey Horton already.
All right, I got to ask one more because it's related to this time frame. Silk asks, with the Seahawks on a bye, I'm going to ask a broader question for everyone. With the most recent Chauncey Billups gambling scandal and the other ones we've seen over the years, are these going to be more commonplace given the increasing connection between leagues and the big-ass sports books? Is the influx and massive front and center of prominence of sports gambling versus years past where it's positive, negative, or some mix? So I think the biggest question is, are these going to become more commonplace?
This is a really good question, actually. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'll tell you what I was talking to my son about today. I was like, this is part of why I don't gamble. You know, it's not about winning and losing. It's what happens if you lose and the leverage that you get if you lose too much. And I mean, I think these guys were leveraged into doing some really awful things. And it's a pretty common story. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's not something I do. I know people enjoy it.
This is why like Jason Myers intentionally misses a field goal every once in a while. Actually, I shouldn't even joke about that.
Nah.
I retract that.
Mob ties. Yeah, I don't know. I think it will become. I think it'll become more common. I think it'll also probably be covered up more because I think the sports leagues will probably be implicated in some of this stuff.
Did you see ESPN was doing a segment on it today and like slowly removed they're betting a sponsor graphic like from the middle of the screen, like during the conversation. It was
I
crazy.
saw the clip of that.
It was crazy.
Well, there was a guy in the Raptors a few years ago who also was like giving insider information about himself and about his over-unders. Like there's just so many. It's getting like the amount of scandal there's already been since like this happened the last couple of years.
I've had my take. I mean, we don't have to get into like a broader political discussion, but I will say this. I have a increasingly problematic view on these sports leagues and these sports, media organizations, NFL Network, ESPN, signing like official betting agreements and marketing, co-licensing type campaigns with these folks. Like I don't mind if somebody wants to bet on a game and like lose $20 on a Thursday night. I really don't care. But like, it's getting a little close to the sport for my comfort. So,
yeah, it doesn't bother me. Like, honestly, it doesn't. I probably because I'm naive or I just don't. I don't spend a lot of brain space on it. But I would rather it be less close to the leagues, and but it is what it is.
It dominates like a lot of the conversation pregame too, guys. Like on Sunday mornings,
that's annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah. It's like I don't want to hear Gronk telling me about his picks that he was paid to promote. Like I don't know.
Yeah, who would do that?
That would be crazy.
So
I just thought about that.
So I appreciate everybody over there at patreon.com/hawkblogger signing up and supporting the show, also getting access to the Discord server and going and getting verified at hbtix.com where you can get Seahawks tickets from Seahawks fans. All right, we got a couple super chats. We'll run through these. I'll let the guys go. Nick Casella says, Aussie Hawks fan here. Would you come down if they played in Melbourne next year? I'm not pronouncing that the way an Australian would, by the way. If you do, I owe you a pint or two for the great work you do. P.S. Keep the stash. Well, I am absolutely going to Australia if they play the game there, as will likely my wife.
I'll join you. I'll join you for 100%.
Sure. Like, we're going, right? Like, it has to happen. As far as the stash, as I've said before, Rachel, my wife, is the CEO of my face. And as of right now, she is wanting the stash to remain. So it's going to stick around for a little while. We'll see how long that lasts. Dwin PDX says, off topic, perfect for bye week. Brian, how do you feel about Billups' allegations on tanking sitting starters late last season? I mean, from what I've heard, most of it's about this poker game that they were running, which is wild. I'll tell you this. I'm a very uninvested Blazers fan right now. I watched my first Blazers game last night, ironically, for the first time in over a year. I didn't watch a single second of NBA basketball last year, playoffs or otherwise.
Wow.
Miss it. I think NBA basketball, for the most part, is absolute shit right now. It's like a pickup game. Like the intensity is low. The defense is crap. There's too many fouls. I just don't like watching it as much as I used to. But I did actually like the Blazers team I watched last night. I think they're kind of interesting. So I'll probably be tuning in a little bit to that. I don't care if Chauncey Billups is fired and never comes back. I never thought he was a big part of what they're going to do anyway. So that's my take on Chauncey Billups. Smokehawk, I would love to see a montage of the doubters from the offseason beginning of the year compared to now. I did a show on this. So you can go back and check the show I did on that. It should be easy to find. If you can't find it, let me know. Cameron, do you think John is working the phone for a trade? So we just talked about this. I think we all think that there's likelihood that the Seahawks are going to try to figure out if there's a way they can improve the team via trade. Yes, I think we're all on the same page there.
Yes, but are we? Let me ask a follow-up question.
Sure.
Is there anybody outside of Reek that you would be willing to deal in a position for position type of upgrade potentially? And who would that be?
I'm willing to trade anybody that they're not planning to re-sign that's in the last year of their deal, just for starters. Other than maybe Walker. I don't know if I'd trade Kevin.
Okay, so you beat me to my follow-up. God dang it, Brian. If the Chargers came calling for K9, or like, I'm trying to think of somebody else who would call for K9. Let's say the Chargers do.
The Bears.
Actually, yeah, potentially. DeAndre Swift is a joke. Would you deal K9 for what would they offer? Like a
Fifth?
third,
Yeah,
third
probably
maybe.
a fifth at
I think a
most.
third, I would take a third.
No. You got to think about it like they're in the last year of the deal. They're going to get a comp pick. And so you have to think about what they'd get as a comp pick if they manage to get a comp pick.
Sure. I'm
I
probably
think
overrating him.
Reek has a real chance of being a third round comp pick. And so that's where I'm like, I'm not sure it's going to make sense to get rid of him. I'll be critical. If they trade him for a 5th round pick and that's it, that's a bad deal. I think that's a really bad deal. If they trade K9 for a 5th, I think it's a mistake for this year, but I don't think that's a bad deal because I don't think they're going to get much more than a 4th at best for him in a comp pick situation.
So I want to pick.
Agree?
I don't even know if they'll get a 4th. I don't.
Yeah.
I think he's like an $8
Running backs
million free agent kind of guy.
So I want to pick on something you said though, Brian. At what compensation level does it turn on Reek? Does it change from, and let's not even talk player for player. Let's just talk draft capital. At what point does that turn into a positive trade for the Seahawks?
A third for sure. I just don't think that's realistic. A 4th technically would be, I think, at least a push because you don't know you're going to get a 3rd round in 2027, and a 4th in hand next year is equivalent to a 3rd the year after. Like that's roughly how they value picks.
Jeff, what's your take on this?
Yeah,
I don't want to trade Reek.
Yeah, but there's a compensation level where you or a trade
For
compensation
me, it would
level.
have to be like a 2nd, and I don't think there's any.
Whoa.
I think
I would not trade him for a 3rd
because you're forfeiting. I think like you're sealing a little bit this year as much as
a
critical
a window where you might have something.
Exactly, and it's
I think you're right. That's been my point all along.
Look, I've been very critical of Woolen. Like I called him a bum after week 1,
and he is a bum. To be clear, I'm not relinquishing.
We saw life
without
Witherspoon and Woolen, and with Witherspoon's knee. I'm not going out with Job and Shaq Griffin in a playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree. I think it would be a mistake. I also
I don't know the dynamics of the room. I don't know that. But based on the information I have, I would not trade him, even though I understand why people don't like him. I'm always surprised when I see people not understand. It's very obvious why he's a polarizing guy.
For sure. All right, Hawks fan Matt, man. Good to see you, Hawks fan Matt, man. It's been a while. I haven't gotten to watch much Seahawks this year because of my work hours, so I'm wondering your opinion on K9's dancing tendencies. Any improvement? We did talk about that. I don't think it's nearly as bad this year, but who knows? Maybe if there's better blocking, we'd feel like it's just as bad. I don't know. Smokehawk, we got him back here. Says, Brian, look for the pic of JS dunking with Stingley on his knees in the background. I've seen that. It is absolutely gorgeous. Stingley on all fours in the background with JSN dunking. I love it. We got 5 free Hawk Blogger memberships from Chris Clark and another 5 free from Smokehawk. That's 10 free Hawk Blogger memberships. It's been a while since we got some gifted memberships. Love it from you folks. Make sure you turn gifting on your YouTube account. You can Google how to do that. Then just like, subscribe, watch the show, comment. That's how you get YouTube to pick you for who gets these free memberships. Irrelevant with our last one here says Hawks make a move for JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson in the Raiders group, and Rashid Shaheed. I don't know, man. Rashid Shaheed, I'd be pumped about. The JPJ, like I feel like people are. Oh, I was never a huge JPJ guy. I think a lot of people have been super psyched about him. Maybe he'd be fine at center, but I just don't know. Where are you, Jeff?
He seems kind of run of the mill. I don't know if that'd be the guy I'd be excited about. They're deficient at O-line right now, and they've had a weird relationship with him since Pete and that crew's gone there. So I don't know if he's the guy. Shaheed is interesting because Brian, we identified him in week 1 where things went kind of off the rail with the offense, and he just provides something they don't have, that electric speed, and that can really enhance. And again, that can take a good thing into a great thing. And so again, it's not always just filling weaknesses. I think building strength is just as important, and people miss that in roster building too much. I think the Shaheed thing would really interest me if I was Schneider.
All right, guys, I've kept you late. Any other thoughts before
really?
I let you go?
I'm kind of excited to just like watch football stress free this weekend.
Hmm.
Are there any matchups you guys are like particularly focused on? I haven't looked at the slate yet.
Go Texans.
Who are they
Ugh.
playing?
49ers.
Oh,
I
hell
wish I
yeah.
had better feelings about that game.
Long
I
time
know.
Texans fan. Long time. Get plowed for Stroud if you remember that.
I mean, the Rams are off. Other
Can
than
I
that,
say-
I'm not sure I care. Yeah.
Can I say one thing about the Texans actually that we didn't talk
Yeah.
about? I feel bad for Stroud. He looks broken, and I really like what the Athletic boys actually said about him in their post game show this past weekend. Like, I'm a believer that Stroud will actually be. I'm still a believer that Stroud will be a what's the right word? Like he's going to be a good quarterback in this football league one day. I don't think it will be with the
He
Texans.
already
though.
was.
Yeah.
But like again, like we'll go back. I think we're going to see that rookie year at some point again, and I kind of feel bad for him. So
Yeah, it's an
Would
awesome.
you-
Would you get plowed for Stroud or Shart for Dart if you had to right now?
Ooh.
you know the campaigns I ran, man. I mean, I love seeing Dart excel. I kind of like seeing a good Giant. Well, I like seeing an inspiring Giants team. I should say.
I think the NFL's better when the Giants are a good team.
I totally agree.
It's been a
with
long
you.
time.
I totally agree with you. Do you guys think Aaron Glenn gets fired this year, or is it non chance?
He's trending that way. He looks way over his head.
I'm a little worried about that one.
He looks like there's just some guys who just can't handle the job. It's such a different job.
Yeah.
It's early. Like Dan Campbell stunk the first year,
Mm-hmm.
but the way he talks to the media and the way it looks rough there.
I'm kind of surprised Mike McDaniel has still lasted, guys.
I cannot believe. I cannot
That's
believe.
a screwed up organization, man. Like Tua's making $55 million.
I mean, Tua. Everyone's like, Tua, stop talking, stop putting him in front of the camera. Like the guy just keeps saying the worst possible things. That's just. I mean, that's part of where I was like, made that video for us because a lot of those fans are in that hell that we were in 2 years ago, where there's no hope. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. I saw a video of this little kid walking out of a Jets game. He's like, I love the Jets are my team. I hate them. I hate them. I hate this team so much. I never want to watch them. You know, I'm like, I get it. I get it. We've been there not that long ago.
A couple years ago. We hated
I know.
watching Pete Carroll teams at the end.
Oh my god, it was a chore to watch Seahawks football.
Man, what about the Raiders? Like, what the hell is
I love every moment, every second of it
I
injected
feel
into my
bad,
veins.
man.
I feel bad.
Bad for Pete.
Pete just looks like a beaten down man. Like he
Guys, come on. Come on. He's like one of the few coaches in NFL history to have won like a college national championship and a Super Bowl. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars. Guys, come on.
If it was Jim Harbaugh, I would be loving every second of it. Pete, not so much. Not so much. I like Pete.
I mean, I love reporting on Geno Smith interceptions.
I know you do.
Every single one. Every
I
single
was
one.
there for the first one of the season.
Oh.
I got a
Oh.
picture of you immediately starting to
Oh. I was being gassed. I want you to know something. Spite is a powerful drug. It is a very powerful drug. And I was gaslit on Twitter.com by the most obnoxious motherfuckers for like 2 years straight. And by the way, I'm one of those highly obnoxious people. So I fully include myself as a problem. But I'm just going to tell you something, like that willful ignorance, that absolute propaganda that was being slopped in front of my face was disgusting. And I got gaslit. I was emotionally gaslit for 2 straight off seasons. So
gaslit is a good word for a lot of what we dealt with for a long time.
I'm not gonna forget that. I won't.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. That's Evan Hill at Evan Hill HB and Jeff Simmons at Real Jeff Simmons. I'm going to let those guys go and just quickly remind you, if you haven't already, now is a great time to take advantage of the deal over at simplyseattle.com. Use code HawkBlogger15, gets you 15% off the best Seattle sports gear you are going to find. Go ahead and do it. I've done it. I love it. And I don't know how much longer they're going to give this amazing deal, but use code HawkBlogger15, get that 15% off. And then obviously head over to Sleeper and grab the Sleeper app. Right now they're doing a really, really cool deal where you can get $20 without making a deposit. And if you use promo code Hawks, you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, folks, that will do it. Enjoyed hanging out with all of you. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Take a fun evening, and then tomorrow morning, Dave Bowling, Mike Sando will be with me at 8 a.m. I'm actually going to be on 710 with Salk in the morning from like 7:30 to 8 probably. So you can listen to me there, and then we're going to have Dave Bowling and Mike Sando at 8 a.m. Till then, have a great night. Take care.